So the second paper is also by Jahim, Kinwei, and myself, and this is where we now use big data to try to predict transitions. And before I talk about this, how many people are actually familiar with big data, machine learning kinds of things? Okay, so I'm going to spend a few minutes then going over that, if you don't mind, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, because if you're not familiar with it, it is a very, very important innovation that has, I think, taken over many disciplines. So what is big data? Well, it's basically the confluence of two things: cheap computing, more powerful computing, but also cheap storage. So we now have the ability to collect and store large amounts of data and then to actually analyze it. And the first folks that actually took this seriously were people in marketing and retail. And it's because they actually collected data from supermarkets once they introduced these scanners, these UPC codes. And the scanner data was analyzed by these big retail chains, and almost overnight, they actually came up with ways to dramatically improve the profitability of their business. So one of the first insights was this. It turns out that in 24-hour grocery stores, like a 7-Eleven or Store 24, these 24-hour shops, they looked at the UPC codes and they discovered that after midnight, two products were far and away the most popular in all of these stores. Now, can you guess what they are?
Yeah, beer and diapers.
Very good. So you know. Okay. So what they did with that information was they took the beer and the diapers and they put them in the back of the store. In case you've been to one of these 24-hour stores, you know if you want beer, you want diapers, you're going to go to the back, because then you have to pass the candy aisle, the potato chip aisle, the frozen food aisle, and you end up buying just a few more things. And so literally overnight, they just made that one change and their revenues increased. So since that time, lots of other applications have emerged. You know this in Amazon. When you buy something, you can find out people who bought what you bought these 5 other things. You really want them. So it's clear that it has a lot of impact. For whatever reason, in the economics and finance field, we've been slow to adopt these things. And there are some concerns about privacy, of course. The best example of that was the Target story. You guys know the Target story? If you do, I'll skip this. How many people? So in 2012, Target launched a campaign where they looked at their scanner data and they noticed certain patterns. Like, for example, they noticed that if you're a 23-year-old woman who happens to buy cocoa butter lotion, a large purse, zinc and magnesium supplements, and a bright blue rug, if you satisfy that rather unusual category, it turns out that there's an 87% chance that you're pregnant. Who knew? But in the data, that's what it showed. And so what they did was they sent these women coupons for diapers, strollers, cribs, and so on, and they increased their revenue. But they made the mistake of sending it to a household, a very religious household, where the girl who received it was 17 years old. And she was at school, but the father was home and got the coupons and was absolutely outraged because he felt that this store was essentially encouraging his daughter to engage in premarital sex. And so he went down to the local Target and he complained to them about this kind of immoral behavior on the part of this corporation, and made a really big stink of it, and actually threatened to talk to the news station, and ultimately nothing happened. And the reason nothing happened was because when he confronted his daughter with this coupon and just told her how angry he was about Target, she actually let him know that she was in fact 5 months pregnant. So Target actually knows more about your family than you do. So anyway, so this works in lots of different areas. And I'm going to just tell you very quickly how I got interested in this, and then I'll talk about the application that Jahim and Kinwei and I are working on.